You will be executed at a stadium for watching a series from a flash drive. You will ride in the deepest and most luxurious metro in the world, looking like an underground palace. You will be obliged to hand over 100 kilograms of your own feces to the state per year. You will be part of the grandest show on the planet, moving as a single organism with 100,000 people. What is this place where perfect order borders on madness? This is North Korea. We will look behind the Iron Curtain to answer 4 questions that boggle the mind. Why in the 21st century do people here pay with their lives for what we do every evening? Watching a movie? What does a city look like where there are no traffic jams, no advertising, and the streets are washed with soap, creating an illusion of utopia? Is it true that for the crime of one person, their entire family goes to prison, including grandchildren not yet born? And how does a nation living in isolation create technological miracles and shows that make the whole world's jaw drop? Today, 8 facts, 4 soul-chilling horrors, and 4 examples of frightening perfection. Buckle up, we are entering Pyongyang. Let's start with what breaks the very essence of justice. In most countries, if you commit a crime, you go to prison. In North Korea, your blood goes to prison. This is called the punishment of 3 generations. If you are accused of a political crime, for example, you tried to escape the country or tore a portrait of the leader, not only you go to the camp, gulag, your parents are sent there, and your children are sent there. Children are born in the Kachon concentration camp, grow up in slavery, and die there, never even knowing what the world outside the barbed wire looks like. Their only fault is their DNA. The state set a goal: to rip out the seed of enemies by the root. This is genetic cleansing of one's own people. Let's go underground. The Pyongyang Metro is not transport. It is a museum and a bomb shelter. It is one of the deepest metros in the world, 110 meters underground. You have to descend on the escalator for almost 4 minutes to patriotic music. But when you descend, you enter a palace. Mosaics the size of a wall depicting a happy future. Here are crystal chandeliers, bronze statues, and marble columns, and always perfect cleanliness. This is a time capsule preserving the Soviet chic of the 50s. This place was created so that a little man would feel the greatness of the state, even just on the way to the factory. It is beautiful, and it scares with its sterility. Let's return to fear. What did you do last night? Watch Squid Game? Listen to K-pop? In North Korea, they kill for this. The information blockade here is absolute. Authorities call South Korean movies a drug that destroys ideology. There are special squads, Group 109, that break into homes at night and cut off the electricity to check which disc is left in the DVD player. If they find an American action movie, prison. If they find a South Korean drama, execution. Recently, news circled the world about the public execution of teenagers who simply distributed South Korean series. They were killed in front of their classmates. Your flash drive with movies in North Korea is a weapon scarier than a pistol. But how to control millions? You need to turn them into a single organism. Welcome to the mass games Arirang. This show is listed in the Guinness Book of Records. Imagine a stadium for 150,000 people. On the field, 100,000 gymnasts move with millisecond precision. But look at the stands. There sit 20,000 children with colored placards. On command, they flip the pages, creating giant living mosaics. One child is 1 pixel. If 1 pixel makes a mistake, the picture falls apart. But they don't make mistakes. It looks mesmerizing. This is the triumph of collectivism, where I is erased and only we remains. The spectator cries with delight seeing this power. But behind the scenes are months of exhausting training in the heat, where fainting is treason. Let's come down from heaven to earth. Literally. In North Korea, there's a chronic shortage of chemical fertilizers, sanctions and economic collapse. How to grow food? The state found a way. Human waste. Every family, every factory, and every school has a feces quota. In winter, the campaign for the battle for manure begins. People are obliged to hand over hundreds of kilograms of their own waste. It turns into absurdity. People steal the contents of street toilets from neighbors. In schools, children bring feces in bags to get a pass grade. This is a question of agriculture survival. The smell standing over the fields in spring is unbearable. This is the smell of despair of a country trying to feed itself with 17th century methods while having a nuclear bomb. You think North Korea is only gray barracks? You are mistaken. Look at Mirai Scientist Street or the Ryomyong district. Foreigners call this Pyongyang. Futuristic skyscrapers glowing with neon. Coffee shops where the elite drink cappuccino. Munsu Water Park, which looks better than many water parks in Europe. Here lives the elite. Loyal party members, nuclear scientists. They have smartphones, albeit without access to the world internet. They wear branded clothes and ride taxis. This is a showcase, a facade. The authorities show this to their citizens as proof of prosperity. Look how we live! And many believe that the whole country lives like this, while in the province, people heat stoves with corn cobs. There is one more quota, the fish quota. The army must eat. The leader orders, "More fish!" And thousands of fishermen set off into the Sea of Japan on old wooden boats with tractor engines. They have little fuel and no GPS. Every year, hundreds of so-called ghost ships wash up on the shores of Japan. On board, only skeletons or bodies of North Koreans. They die of hunger, lost at sea, or freeze to death. But they cannot return without a catch because it will be considered sabotage. Instead, they choose death in the ocean over shame on the shore. This is a silent tragedy that North Korean news is silent about. And finally, the atmosphere. Imagine a metropolis without visual noise. In Pyongyang, there is no commercial advertising, no billboards with Coca-Cola, and no traffic jams, because cars are a luxury. Every morning, not the noise of motors, but ghostly electronic music spreads over the city. At 6 a.m., all over Pyongyang, the song, "Where Are You, Dear General?" plays through speakers. It sounds like a soundtrack to a dystopia. The city wakes up synchronously. People go to work in identical clothes, with badges of leaders on their chests. There is a frightening aesthetic in this. Absolute order, absolute cleanliness, absolute control. Here, you will never feel loneliness, because Big Brother is watching you even from the portrait in your bedroom. North Korea is a shard of the past stuck in the future. It is a country experiment, an experiment on how much a person can endure for the sake of an idea. We saw 8 facets, from feces on the fields to marble in the metro, from concentration camps for babies to grand shows of unity. There is no freedom here in our understanding, but here there is something the Western world has lost, frightening, monolithic unity, and now a question that is scary to answer. Look at your life, at the chaos, at the stress, at the loneliness in the crowd, and imagine life there, where everything is decided for you, where there is no choice, but no doubts either, where you are part of something huge, albeit monstrous. What is scarier, the chaos of freedom where no one needs you, or the perfect order of a prison where you are cared for until death? Write in the comments, honestly, and subscribe. We show worlds that are better looked at through a screen.